Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon and today I am back with my April book haul part 1. Now in January and February I did one book haul a month and I actually like that I think a bit more than doing a few. However, back in March it was my birthday, so therefore I did a birthday book haul and then a non-birthday book related book haul. And this month I'm away from, well, as this goes live, I'll have gone away for a week and a half, and then actually I'm going straight, I land and then pretty much fly back out again to go away for work for a little bit. So I thought what I'll do is when I land back in between going away is do part 2 of my April book haul, but do kind of as live, where I open the parcels that have arrived while I've been away and share my instant thoughts with you, but do these ones first. So that is the plan. I've just realised I'm missing some books that I left downstairs. So I'm gonna go get those and then I'll be back. But at least that made the intro shorter than probably it would have been otherwise. Right, there were only 2, but because it is Saturday as I'm filming this and there will be no more book posts today and I will not be buying any more books, apart from one possibly at the airport tomorrow before I go away, but that's a potential one. I wanted to make sure I was like fully up to date before I did this video with you all. So now we can crack on, and as always I'm going to start with books from publishers, and I'm going to start with books that I have shown you on this channel before in some other form, but they have arrived in their final form, as it were. So I've got a little bit of fringe flop today. I don't know quite what's going on. I haven't put anything in it. I'm trying not to use product because it's not great for the planet. Anyway, moving on to the books, because that's why you're here, not to discuss hair products. So 3 books that I've shown you before in a different form, be it proof or something else. The first of which is a proof that I've definitely shown you before because I have talked about it after I read it. I absolutely loved it, and it is People Person by Candice Carty Williams. I loved Queenie so much. I love this even more, and I think it might be because of the subject matter, because this book looks at half brothers and sisters and looks at the bond you do or don't have because they're half siblings. And I have kind of an interesting, I guess, personal reaction to this because I have 4 half siblings, and the 2 on my mum's side I'm really, really close to and don't see as half brothers and sisters. They like just feel like my brother and sister, and I've done a video with them below, which I'll try and remember to link down below. But then I also have a brother and sister from my dad's side who I don't know as well because I didn't meet my dad until I was 16, and so have not ever quite had that bond with them, and yet I do, because when I see them there is some thing there, and this actually really, really looks at that. I made it all about me, but it was, I promise, really all about the book. And I think what she does with this is wonderful. So there's also a jaw-dropping second chapter, which is why I'm not telling you anything about the plot and why I barely did when I reviewed it. So there we go. Now this book you haven't seen a proof of, but I have bought the American edition because I wasn't sure when this was going to be coming out in the UK, and this actually might end up in my luggage when I go away. I will be doing a holiday TBR, which I'll be putting live on Tuesday and recording straight after this. Possibly moving to a different area and changing my top so it feels like it wasn't done on the same day. I'll let you into the secret. Anyway, speaking of secrets, this is The Secret Lives of Church Ladies by Deesha, Philyaw, and funny enough is recommended by, well, it says left me wanting more. Candice Carty Williams said that, who we were just speaking of. Really excited for this collection. I've heard amazing things about it, and if I manage to get to an amazing Italian fruit store, which I'm hoping to, and I can get some, I can't work out whether that's a peach or an apricot, but either or, I can already see an Instagram picture waiting to happen. So yeah, really looking forward to this though. I think it yeah, it's just, I've only heard amazing things, and I think it was on Rince's favourite books of the year, so I have put it on a special pile of books that I keep with some of my favourite booktubers' favourite books, and I'm going to try and work my way through it. I was going to do a reading vlog of that, but then loads of other people did, and I thought, okay, it's just going to look like I'm copying them, and I don't want it to look like that. Anyway, so yeah, there's that one. And thirdly, finally, of the books that I've shown you before is, actually no, there's one more, but it's not in finished form. This is A Tidy Ending by Joanna Cannon. I love Joanna Cannon's writing. This is her 4th book, her 3rd novel, and I've heard it's about well, actually no, I started it while I was on holiday a few weeks ago, but then wanted to save it for the right time. I'm taking it all with me definitely on holiday because I love Joanna Cannon's writing, my mum loves Joanna Cannon's writing, Chris loves Joanna Cannon's writing, and my stepdad Tim loves Joanna Cannon's writing, and we're going to be sharing books. And this is a bit of a thriller about a woman who is basically at home a lot of the time. Her husband's quite often not there, and it's at the time that there are lots of murders happening. And do the two have anything to do with each other? We'll all have to read the book and find out. Then on to books just from publishing in general that I don't think I've talked about before, possibly one. First is one that I asked for because I was so excited about it. This is Seven Steeples by Sara Baume. I have read Sara's last two books. One was non-fiction and one before that was fiction, and thought they were incredible. Both looked at art and craft. I think this does in some way. It's about Belle and Hsieh, a couple who very early in their relationship kind of go away and hide away from the world, and it's what happens to them when they're kind of being remote and distant from everything. So really, really, really looking forward to this one. Love books that have nature in them, fiction-wise. I'm learning that about myself a lot more. Then I'm really, really excited for this book. Well, you can't tell from the cover because it's the proof, but it's Only on the Weekends by Dean Atta, who wrote The Black Flamingo, which I absolutely loved. This is another novel in verse, a YA novel in verse, and I believe this is about a couple who I think have been together a while, and one of them's moving away, so they only see each other at weekends, and how that works for them. But then I think someone else comes on the scene, and I think drama and well, what's the word I want to use? Lots of emotions ahead with this one. Really looking forward to it. I just realised I have shown this on the channel before. This is Elaine Hsieh's Chou's Disorientation, and I got this off my birthday wishlist from one of you lovely lot, and I'll be talking about some of the books that have arrived. I'm keeping that wishlist open until April the 24th. But yeah, I saw the American edition of this, and it is just so stunning that it made me kind of find out more about the book. That's what great covers can do. I wanted to burst into That's What Love Can Do then, but change it to cover anyway, moving on. But this is about a 29-year-old, I think, PhD student, yes, Ingrid Yang, and she's desperate to finish her PhD, and she is finding that there are lots of things going on in her life around that time that are sort of, it's at a point where she's got to make a lot of decisions and a lot of things are changing, but also I believe it looks at where cultures clash and where they mingle and all those kind of things, which I love in fiction. So really excited for this, and also excited that I now have a proof that I can batter about on my travels over the forthcoming months, because the finished American edition is too beautiful, but this one can go around in my bag. That's from Picador, and I should say that'll be out in oh, it's out already. Apparently it's out just now in March, and then this one is out in May. Then we have a book that I was asked if I would like. I should say the last two came unsolicited. And this is a book that I was asked if I'd like, and I said yes, please, straight away. This is Lucky Breaks, and it's by Yevgenia Belorusets. And it's about the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, not this conflict, but conflict before, and looks at, through short stories, what is happening to women during these conflicts. And I think that's going to be really, really important read for now. So very, very keen to get to this one. I will try to remember to but to leave in the description box all of the titles and the authors below. So yeah. Then a book that I flirted dreadfully on Twitter for, and it worked. This is Acts of Service by Lillian Fishman. I really, really love that cover, and I just kind of feel like that goes on forever and ever and ever, that pool. It's quite incredible, which is something that's both exciting and terrifying. I find water, even in swimming pools, I think there might be a shark. Isn't that weird? Anyway, that's not what this book is about. I think this book is a what's the term I was described for it? It's kind of an academic drama kind of book, a campus drama. I don't love campus novels, but I do quite like academic-y kind of tension, possibly slightly illicit twist to them, and I feel like that's what this is. That's what I got anyway from, I think, Rebecca of Rebecca Eats Books, CJ Reads, and Jalen of the Book and the Bar. I always say it wrong. Jalen of the Bar and the Bookshelf, or is it Bar and Bookcase? I'm so sorry, Jalen. Every time I get it wrong. I don't know why. You know when there's certain things you just can't get right. It's like with Ewan of Hardback Hypebeast, Hardback. yeah, anyway, that's this book. It's out from Europa in July here in the UK. I'm intrigued for it. Then I got this little sample a while back of How to Read Now by Elaine Costello. It was one of the novels, and then promptly the proof edition arrived not long later, and this is a series of essays on the, as it says, about exploring the politics and ethics of reading. And I think that's a really, really interesting kind of book, and I'm looking forward to reading it. I have meant to read Elaine Costello before because she wrote America Is Not the Heart, which me and CJ Reads said we would read together as a buddy read, and then didn't. But CJ, if you're seeing this and you want to, please let me know. I believe it's just on the shelves. There, you can't see that, but it's just up there. So yeah, but I'm intrigued to get to this one. Anything around reading, I always want to read. I say that, do I? Is that always true? Sometimes I think there are academic books about reading. I'm like, I don't think so. That might put me off. And then we have a book that I've heard loads about. There was loads of sort of buzz around this, The Proof. Then it went really quiet and I forgot about it. And the finished one arrived from Atlantic. Thank you very much, unsolicited. And this is Black Mamba by William Friend. And on the back it says, Daddy, there's a man in our room. And that's all I need to know to make me want to read it. It makes me just feel very uncomfortable, and I'm hoping that that is what this book is going to do as well. We shall see. So there's that one. Then we have Homelands by Chitra Ramaswamy, and I was lucky enough to judge the Desmond Elliott Prize with Chitra and also the wonderful Lisa. Oh my lord, why do names go out of my head just when I want to talk about them? Lisa won the Women's Prize with her book about Dublin. Oh my, McInerney. How could I have forgotten that briefly? Anyway, we're back. But back to Chitra's book, actually, speaking of we're back. I went off on one of my usual many tangents. This is The History of a Friendship, and it sounds fascinating. It says, this book is about two unlikely friends, one born in 1970s Britain to Indian immigrant parents, the other arrived from Nazi Germany in 1939, fleeing persecution. And this book is about common ground. It's a story of migration, anti-Semitism, racism, family, belonging, grief, and resilience. I think this is going to be absolutely incredible, and I'm looking forward to it very much indeed. I begged for that one. It's from the lovely folk at Canada. It's out very soon. The first of two books from One World. We have One for Sorrow, Two for Joy by Marie Claire Amuah. And this is about a young woman who seems to have like this really big thing around magpies, and I don't know whether it's like an OCD thing or whether it's how they're dealing with trauma that they've been through, but this also is a book about the trauma that we can sometimes inherit from our families and the culture that we're from, and it goes from London to Ghana, I believe, and yeah, it's about Stella, who tries really hard to be good and sometimes really, really struggles. Her dad is quite tempestuous, I guess would be the word, and yeah, I think it follows on from that, so I'm intrigued by this one very much, as I am, and I love this as a proof cover, Someday Maybe by Onyi Nwabinelli, and this is all about grief. And so this book, I think, is going to be one that's quite tricky for me, because it's all about a woman who finds her husband after he's committed suicide, and it's what follows on from there. Now, I don't talk about this very often, and I'm slightly hesitant about talking about it, but I found my first stepdad after he had accidentally killed himself, and there's certain subject matters that can just make me be a bit like that, but I think I kind of need to try, and I think this could be that. But that said, I've talked so much about like how important it is to talk about grief and how important it is for there to be books about it, that I want to read this to kind of not be therapy exactly, but to sort of just be, I don't know, yeah, that. But that's what the book's about, and it's about how this woman copes after the fact. So we have that one. And then this is one of the two books that I ran downstairs to get. I have shown you this before, but not this edition. This is the second set of proofs for Murder Before Evensong by the Reverend Richard Coles. I read this, I really, really enjoyed it. I've got to read it again for something coming up later in the year, and I can't wait to go back to it. And yeah, I'm slightly tempted to pack this actually, because I think everyone in my family just loves the Reverend Richard Coles almost as much as I do. So yeah, that's one that I enjoyed and I'm going to be heading back to. Then a memoir that Monique Rofi has raved about. This is Love the Dark Days by Ira Mather, and it's from Peepal Tree Press. It's out in July, and it's Peepal Tree Press with the publisher who published The Mermaid of Black Conch before it won the Costa, the year that I was judging the overall Costas, and then it got bought by Vintage, and this is a memoir, and Monique on the back here says, although she's recommended it to me personally, that it's a blaze of a book, a Caribbean feminist memoir that examines inherited patriarchal abuse of women and societal norms brought from the old world to the new. And Mather deftly yokes together parallel worlds, colonial India and post-colonial Trinidad. Both worlds are dark and both worlds hurt women. A memoir like this has never come out of the Caribbean. I mean, like, that is serious, make me want to read it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to that one. And lastly, from publishers, but certainly not least, is The Con Artist by Luke Healy. This came unsolicited, and there is something with graphic novels where I'm just like, oh, graphic novel arrived, so I'm just going to have to read it, even if I'm not sure how I feel about it. I haven't read the blurb, therefore, for this one, but the images I like. If the images weren't sort of my kind of, I don't know, palette, or I don't know, just didn't quite get me, I might not be so keen, but this one looks like it's quite fun. It's got a kind of comic book feel to it. So yeah, don't know what it's about, but I shall read it at some point and try it. Now, dragging these over, as I mentioned earlier, I have a wish list that I put up for my birthday, and I did it at Christmas actually, and some of you very kindly bought me some books for my birthday. I did a whole haul video of it, but some are still coming through, and like I said, it'll be open until the 24th. I did it a month before my birthday, and I'm doing it till a month after. First up, from the lovely Emma Sims, we have Poppy Show by Leonie Ross, which is the American edition of This One Sky Day by Leonie Ross. And I just love this cover and title. I think it sums up the book way more than the UK one, even though that hardback with the spreadsheets and everything is absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, I'm really keen to read this again. And also, this is deceptively thin because it is like nearly 500 pages. I don't know how they've managed that magic. Oh, it's also a really floppy American paperback, which I love. So who doesn't love a floppy one, eh? But anyway, moving on, there's that. So thank you very much, Emma. Then the lovely Astrid sent me Undersong, a novel by Kathleen Winter, who wrote Annabelle, which I really loved when I read it. I know there was a bit of furore about it afterwards from the community that she was trying to write about. I didn't read too much into it. There's something where I think if an author gets it wrong and they go, okay, I'm really sorry, I was writing it from a supportive slash ally side, which I believe Kathleen did, then I feel like that's okay because they've acknowledged it. I know there are some authors who shall remain nameless, John Boyne, who then kick off, and I just think, well, what's the point, because the community do know better than you. So yeah, anyway, Undersong is about something completely different. I don't know what, because as soon as I saw it, just put it on the list because I was like, this sounds amazing. It's out in Canada, it's not out here in the UK. And actually there was another of her books, I want to say like the last September or something, that has come out since Annabelle, and I haven't got my mitts on that one, and I really want to, but this one was available on a certain site, which I do have an issue around, but what I purposefully do is only choose books that I can't get from independent bookshops in the UK. And then what I like to think is that if I rave about it and there are ways that you can get it independently, you will, or from your library, etc. So yeah, there's that. But I'm really looking forward to that one. And last but not least, and actually one that I didn't realise had been bought for me, so I bought the UK edition, but I prefer this cover, so I have supported an indie bookshelf in buying it. But this is Vagabonds, the American edition, Riverhead's Books edition, by Elogosha Asundi. And I've heard, like, I read the first few chapters, but it was when I was being really naughty and picking it, like, I picked it up in a bookshop just because I wanted to read it right there and then read like a few hundred pages and then did something else on the train. So naughty me, but I will head back to it. Could possibly go in my holiday luggage, we'll see. But yeah, really keen to get to it. And it's set in Lagos. It's about people on the periphery of society. It's also about the spirit of the city and the spirit's sidekick who's quite naughty, and some of the things they're getting up to and drawing this cast of characters together. And yeah, really, really, really keen to read more of it and finish it in due course. On to the books I bought myself. First up, we have A Good Year by Polis Loiseau, and I know Polis a little bit through Instagram. I did go and actually see them. They used to work at Nottingham Waterstones. I go and see them there when I once was in Nottingham for work, and I'm really keen to read this because it's set in Cyprus, and since having read The Island of Missing Trees by Alicia Fatt, which is one of my favourite books of the year, I want to read a lot more books about Cyprus, and this I saw Polis talking about, and I think it's got like folklore and myth in it, and that just sounded so good to me. It's set in the 1920s, and yeah, that's all I know about it, but I'm just really, really excited. Oh, I don't know whether it's got a queerness to it as well, possibly. Maybe. Yeah, it looks like he does. Oh, very excited about it. Even more excited about it. And then we have David Olusoga's Black and British, which I picked up in a charity shop. Now, I have this is kind of like an edited version of an absolute chunkster that he's written, which is so incredible and so important. If you've not read it, do. I really wanted him to be reading on audio, and once I got over the sulk of him not, I was into it, but I did struggle at the start because I was just fighting against it because spoiled brat. But the reason I got this is that book, I think, is one that you need to head to repeatedly for it to really sink in, and this is, like I said, a digestible version of it. So I think I'm going to head back to this one this year and relearn, and then head back to the big one, be it physically or on audio, next year, and sort of keep repeating that. I'm currently actually working on a project that David Olusoga is the creative director of Story Trails, which is the one where I'm going out to all these 15 libraries around the UK and Northern Ireland, collecting stories, scanning objects, people and places that mean a lot to people from the place they're in, and then we're creating these personalised, like 3D augmented reality roller coasters that you sit in the libraries that travel around all the different libraries over the summer, which is why I'm away so much. I'm off to the libraries again from the 27th of April until, well, middle of June, with 1 week where I'm off doing something else. And then I'm back doing them for 4 days at a time, going to one city. Four cities a week for like 1 day each from May until June. And then mid-June, and then from the 1st of July until the end of September, I'm at each city for 4 days. So yeah, it's going to be quite an intensive time travelling all around here, but actually that might be the perfect time to listen to it again as I'm travelling. Anyway, moving on. A book that I have a proof edition of. So I have shown you this before, but this is the finished paperback, which I just thought was beautiful and saw in the other day and wanted, was John McGregor's Lean Full Stand. And this is another author that me and my mum really, really, really love, and could end up going in my holiday TBR. You'll know whether it has or not on Tuesday. But yeah, really, really, really keen to read this at some point. Don't know why I haven't read it yet. Now, I had talked quite a bit about the International Booker and did a video of my thoughts on the shortlist for Sky Arts Book Club Extra, which I always link down below. It's a show I present on Sky Arts Book Club Facebook group once a week while you wait for a new series of Sky Arts Book Club on the Chatty Box. Anyway, I'm a bit like that about reading the long list, because I don't have the books of Jacob, and it's not the one of Olga's books that most interests me, and I don't think that's a good way to go into a 900-page, or is it even 1,000-page book. And also, John Foss, I'm getting to a point, I promise, this is not the one that's up for the Booker International this year. This is the first of the trilogy, which is actually a septology, which kind of is very confusing anyway. But so many people love this, I thought, well, maybe I should try the first one, and if I want to read some of the other shortlisted books, I could read this, some of those, and then maybe read one of Olga's books that I have that isn't the Book of Jacob, just to get a flavour. I know it won't be the same book, but yeah, so I bought this. basically. That was a long way of telling you that I bought that one. I've also shown you, so I have shown you quite a few of these before. I've shown you this on the channel, but it was the UK proof, which is very different from this cover. And I think I love this cover. Well, I know I love this cover more, that's why I bought it. But it's A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. And this is all about Dorothy Daniels, who is a food critic, and we get to know her because of that and her love for food. And then we start to find out like about her love of sex, and then we start to find out of her love of murder, maybe. And that intrigues me a lot. This is set a little bit in Italy, so it is sort of teasing me that I should take it with, but I kind of want to read this with a few other books that kind of sound really bonkers, and have, they're books by women that have incredibly out there female protagonists. So yeah, I might hold fire on that one. Then a book that I heard about through, I think it's the James Tate Prize that Edinburgh University do. I'd never heard of it before. It's English Magic by Hsieh Gatward, and this is a collection of short stories. Now, I'm going to read you the proof. I'm going to read you the blurb, which I did with another book I know, and I don't do very often, but it sometimes is better than my version of it. But this is also why I decided I wanted to get my mitts on it. So it says, as I cross a clearing, a huge auburn fox, the biggest I've ever seen, as big as a pig, pounds past me, a hair in its jaws. Another younger fox chases it. I watch them hurtle through the wet trees, flashing tawny and white. I wonder about the foxes and the other things. Will we be their prey when the weather turns, when the ice sets in? And then it says, English Magic moves through fields and parklands, estates and empty beaches. It lands at Heathrow Airport, takes a taxi to the suburbs, finds emptiness and oppression. It strikes out for the countryside on May Day, to where maypoles whirl and hay bales blaze, and where blessings sound like threats. It's in a flat, drags itself out of half sleep, and there's something tapping behind the gas fire. That just sounded so good. Very, very, very excited for this one. Very excited, and I've not heard about it anywhere. And actually at the moment I am having I've got a little bit of book prize burnout, actually, going back to the International Booker, and indeed the Women's Prize. But also I feel like there are certain books at the moment that are being really kind of hyped, and I kind of want to avoid those and head for other things instead, I think, for a while. This was the second of the books that I wanted to go and grab that arrived today that I bought from Blackwell's. This is Content Warning Everything by Akwaeke Emeze. This is their debut poetry collection. I have loved everything that I have read so far by Akwaeke Emeze. They are becoming one of my all-time favourite authors. I have this and Bitter outstanding. I've read all 4 of their other books, and yeah, I just think they're incredible, and I'm so excited for this. I think Content Warning Everything is also a brilliant title for a collection. And then something very, very fun is Welcome to Your Life by Bethany Rutter, who I had the pleasure of meeting back when I used to work at Liverpool Libraries, and this is her first novel for adults, and it just sounded like super duper fun. And I think sometimes I am really bad at picking up something that's just fun, and I need to remember that sometimes books are just about escapism and fun. And I think this also has some real really important themes at its heart too, so very excited for this one. And then the last 3 books that I bought recently physically were on Wednesday when I was in Birmingham, and I had been to see Front Row recorded for a new project. So I'm doing the Story Trails project that I mentioned earlier, travelling around the country, but also after having said goodbye to BBC Novels That Shaped Our World, I'm now working on the BBC Big Jubilee Read, which by the time this goes live, I think the list will have been announced, or it will be announced tomorrow, but it's 70 books, 10 per decade of the 7 decades of the Queen's reign, and it's books from all around the Commonwealth, and yeah, so it's going to be amazing. Sorry, I had to stop Chris from going to the toilet noisily. As I was saying, it's 70 books from the last 70 years of the Queen's reign, and it's all from around the Commonwealth, which the Commonwealth as a subject matter is really fascinating at the moment. And I can tell you the list is brilliant because there's so many books that I've never heard of, and that always excites me with the list. I may do a vlog on some of the ones that I've not heard of, but one that I hadn't heard of, although I had heard of the author because they won the Nobel Prize last year, but was also at the recording of Front Row about the Jubilee Reads. Wow, this took me a while to get to this book, basically, was Abdul Razak Gurna, and this is Paradise, and this is one of the books on the list. He read from it. It sounded amazing. It's really short. Straight afterwards, I was with my little sister. I made her go to Foyles with me, what a hardship, and picked this up as well as a couple of the books. I was going to take it away with me, however, I'm trying really, really hard when I'm on holiday to actually be on holiday. So yeah, I'm going to read this one when I get back. And that is possibly something I could do while I'm doing all my travelling, is head to lots of those books on that list for being BBC Big Jubilee Read whilst I'm doing all the travel for Story Trails and sort of combine the two. Ooh, I bought this for Chris, but I thought I would show you because this is going to go in his luggage, I believe. It's How to Be Italian, Eat, Drink, Dress, Travel and Love La Dolce Vita by Maria Pascal. Chris loves everything Italian. He would like to be Italian. If we ever move to another country, it would probably be Italy. And yeah, he's taking this and I believe Taste by Stanley Tucci, the latter of which I think I'll be trying to read too. And last but not least, I picked up, although I've just realised it's a bit of a battered edition, Bola by Pajtim Statovsky. And if you were expecting a vlog today, this was bought to be one of the reads for a vlog that I was doing for the channel. However, it wasn't quite working, and I was recording another vlog for Sky Arts Book Club Extra, which I have filmed and will be on there in the next week. So another reason to go and be part of that fabulous bookish gang, if you're not already. But I heard Niven Govindan rave about this. I have read Pajtim's previous two books and really, really loved them. And I was just checking actually if I've got, why would they be on these shelves if I've already read them? Although actually, is it there? Oh, I can't get it out. So I don't know why. So I have read Pajtim's first book, My Cat Yugoslavia, which was quirky and bonkers and queer and brilliant, but also slightly baffling. And then I have Crossing right here, which I would like to get to at some point. But this one I might head to first, not just because like it's the newest and I'm being all magpie about it, but because the way Niven talked about it and how it looks at war in a really very traumatic way, I think, to read, but really frank and honest with everything going on in the world right now is really important. So yeah, this could be one that I head to very soon. So there we go. Those are the books that I got in the first half of April. Goodness knows what will await me when I return from being away and have all of those parcels to open and give you my honest instant thoughts. I was going to do it live, but I don't have an evening for the first week and a half, in fact possibly longer, of May to do a live, so not going to happen. But maybe a premiere if I can, we'll see, because I do enjoy doing those and having a chat with you. But while I'm on holiday, these videos are just going to go up and I will comment as and when I can here and there. I hope you understand, but don't let that put you off commenting, because I would love to know in the comments down below what you have got recently, any of those books that you're excited about. If you're not excited about them or thought they were rubbish, if you've read them already, don't tell me now, tell me when I have wrapped them up, because then I'm really, really like happy to chat about what's great, what isn't, and all that kind of stuff. But when they're new, I'm excited about them and I don't want that to change. I now need to not only film my holiday TBR, I've got to sort all of these out into piles, because I need to do the second half of a Sorting the Shelves 2 video that's recorded over different points, and yeah, that will also be going live while I'm away. So there we go. I will speak to you all soon. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe if you would like, and yeah, let's have a chat in the comments down below, and I'll get back to them when I can over the coming weeks. I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.